This is BR Tidwell 55. Want to make a comment on the show that sucks recent video on OS market share, and he brings out a bunch of points about how it's something that is really difficult to track. How you can track sales, but that really doesn't give you a true picture because of people who will buy Windows and put it on a Mac in a dual boot situation, or you can't really track internet sites that track OS visit because some sites only work with certain operating systems or whatever. You have to tell it you're using something else and spoof it. He touched on this a little bit, but I don't think with Linux why it's really difficult to get an accurate picture of the actual Linux market share, how many people are actually using it, is because of dual booters. And I would argue that the majority of Linux users out there are dual booters. They're the computer or computers that they have Linux installed on shares hard disk space with some version of Windows or some version of OS 10. But I think the majority of Linux users out there actually have their system configuration set up in dual boot. I can't speak for everyone. I'm one guy. But I'm one guy. I own two computers. And both of my computers are dual boot rigs. At any given time, any given day, you can walk in here, you can see me sitting down in front of my computer, and you may see a Windows desktop up and running, you may see a Linux desktop up and running, and it doesn't matter if I'm using the netbook or the desktop. I go back and forth all the time, simply because, and I know I have a reputation here on YouTube as being a Linux guy, maybe even being a Linux fanboy. I'm not. I don't like fanboyism in any of its forms. I think different operating systems have different strengths and weaknesses. I've always said that, and I'll continue to say that. The strength behind Windows that Microsoft has is just, in one word, is compatibility. And that boils down to the market share it has. Windows is the big, is the 800-pound gorilla on the block, and everybody writes software for it, and everybody codes hardware drivers for it. That's the bottom line. And because of that, and it's very few. It's very few, but there are a couple of applications that I need to use that I can only use on Windows. There is no Linux equivalent for it, and that keeps me from being a 100% Linux pure person. The strength behind Linux is its configurability. I can install Linux on my machine, and I can make it my own. And you can do that. A lot of that with Windows as well, but not to the degree that you can with Linux. And like I said, for probably 98% of the time, Linux fulfills every computing need I have. It's that 2% of the time that I need Windows, and that I run Windows. So, but I think I am fairly typical of most Linux users out there. I'm fairly tech savvy, not afraid of partitioning a hard drive, not afraid to try out new things, but there's just sometimes when I gotta have Windows. So that's kind of, and I think that's why Linux market share will never be accurately reflected. And then you also got to keep in mind there's nobody out there other than the people selling Android phones that are actually and show that sucks. You brought that out, but they're the only people that are doing it. There's no, yeah, Dell and HP. They sell a few here and there that are configured with Linux, but there's nobody actually out there selling Linux, and it's kind of hard to sell something that's free. But well, Red Hat does it. Actually, Red Hat sells support, but that's neither here nor there. Anyway, uh, that's kind of my 2 cents worth. Thanks for watching.